The following program is a live podcast with hospitality individuals and chefs who are real people. Topics may include drinking, occasional vitamin use, choreographed violence, Appalachian humor, politics, comic books, ghosts, overindulgence, polyamory, theft, obstruction of justice, bleeding wounds, and more. These things some people may find offensive, but are not limited to what may offend some people but not others. The show does occasionally use language that would be not safe for work. But it's how real people talk, and like we said in the first line of the warning, these are real people. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please call our comment line at 860-744-4767. Thank you.
I want my painting back.
The painting was a gift, Todd. I'm taking it with me.
You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
You don't come in my dojo and drop a challenge and leave, old man. Now, you get your boy on the mat, or you and I will have a major problem.
Too much advantage. Your dojo.
You got the touch. You got the power. Yeah!
Nice muscles, Tyler, dude.
I actually give a whole talk about treating our work like an athletic event. And when you see it that way, doesn't mean you don't have fun. And I mean, having a shift drink and hanging with the people you just did battle with should never be taken away. But I mean, what's wrong with like calling that out a little bit? It almost feels like our industry is growing up a little bit. And I know it's easy to hold on to what was and to really glorify it. And I liked the School of Hard Knocks. I liked how hard life was. I felt like I was doing something not a lot of people could handle. But it doesn't mean it needs to be the norm. And I think that to have that stuff challenged, I don't think is that awful.
I admit I don't look like the athlete of the day supposed to look. My belly's just a little big. My hand is just a little big. But brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad. And there were two bad people. One was John Wayne and he's dead, brother. And the other one's right here.
If you just shut the fuck up for 30 seconds, you might learn something.
Welcome to Plumber Foods Live, #1 live digital audio industry show for chefs by chefs. Hosted by multi-time Food Network winner and award-winning chef, Chef Plum, and culinary veteran, star of the Food Saver commercial, Chef Jeff. So wrap, date, and rotate because the boys are about to set your Nissan claws. Here are the Good Brothers.
All right, here we go. Woo! Welcome to Plum Love Foods Live. Here it is, Big Jeffy in the house, hosting the best of the video era. And I think it's appropriate I host it because I pushed hard for us to be in the video era. All right, well, here I am. Currently, the boys are in the back prepping, doing what they do best, making delicious food for the Mohegan Sun. And of course, I'm not here alone. I'm joined by the producer, the man with the most plans and the most things to say, Chef Dan. Welcome to the first of video episodes.
Hello, Jeff. Y'all, very happy to be here. I love it. I'm so excited for you out here because you were the one that talked this thing up. So absolutely, you should be hosting it. You the man.
Oh, no, I'm not the man at all. I just like to be behind men. Anyway, here we are. We have some great bits tonight. We have some amazing bits. We're going to relive some really fun times we had together. We were with good brother Doug Marcida, who's going to be on the show this evening. We're going to go hang out with him again. Good brother Micheal Reardon from Guinness. What a cool conversation that was. And of course, we would be remiss if we did not have the most interesting conversation of the year per video. Madam Olivia Larue from Las Vegas, a true madam, once was a chef. Very interesting conversation. Changed my mind about a lot of things.
Plus, don't forget, you know Plum's going to come through. He's going to sit down with the head honcho over at Sun Wine and Food Fest, Lindsay, Cady.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He's going to be coming in, and Lindsay's going to talk about all the cool shit that's going on at the Sun Wine and Food Festival, which there is a lot. This is the 20th anniversary year, and I'm telling you right now, the casino is packed. We got here, shit is popping, people are everywhere, things are happening, people are already drinking, things are getting spilt. Dan, what do you think?
Well, I'm coming in hot, ready to go. We get in that kitchen, we light shit up. We meet all our comrades that have been there since the beginning, handling business. It's always a good time. I love hanging out with all them chefs in the kitchen. I love the energy that goes into the whole weekend. It's such a good time on so many levels. There's so much to learn. It's awesome.
That's right. Well, if you're not here this weekend, sucks to be you. Sorry, guys. Anyway, moving on. We're starting right now, episode 403, featuring our good brother, our new good brother from Forged in Fire, Doug Marcida. Chef Plum got to be a guest judge on this show, Forged in Fire, one of his dreams. He was super pumped. He called me from the set, told me how amazing the guys were there, all awesome dudes. Doug talks about his passion, why he's a big fan of the military for everyone.
Well, I'm so blessed. I mean, nobody gets to do what I do. I mean, they're it's just a blessing. I mean, who knew? When I was I remember there were days in my early years of training. I remember, people were saying, you're spending so much time doing that. You're wasting your time. You could be doing other things. Lo and behold, where I am today. It's a weird, interesting sacrifice, isn't it? You have to put so much passion, and you sacrifice time from other things.
Yeah.
And you're so lucky if you get to actually continue on with that passion. So if you do, you are blessed.
And the emotional drain that comes with putting that much passion into something, I think that isn't talked about enough. Like, it's hard, man. It's hard, and that's why everybody can't do it. It's hard.
Yeah.
So many people
And the
tap out.
cost.
Yeah.
A lot of times the people don't understand. They only know that you train. No, do you know the amount of time, the amount of money we spent, the sacrifices? Sometimes we go without eating because we want to put it toward lessons.
Yeah.
All these things that come with that passion, and the time. But a lot to me is the sacrifice of your time. That really is one thing that people don't appreciate. They go, well, you're here to pay. You're here. Let me pay you. Do you know what what I had to go through? That's why when I look at you chefs, when you serve your food, people just go for what's in front of you. No, do you know about the years? How many potatoes did he have to peel to present that just to you? And it's not even potatoes, All these different things. We don't pay attention to that. So when you get to that point, I mean, appreciate that.
30 years, Doug. 30 years it's taken me to do this. 30 years for me to get here and finally talk to you. That's what it took. That's what it was, man. Listen, I want to talk a little bit about, let's just about being on set, about doing the show, and then we can move on from that a little bit. But it's interesting to me because when you're on a set like this, you think that people are you're living the life. Oh, they're having the best food. They're catering and all this stuff. And I can tell you from experience from doing other shows, like that's not actually the case. Do you guys eat well on the show?
You're talking to the wrong person. I eat everything.
Okay.
I appreciate everything. Coming from a third world country, you put anything in front of me, I'm going to put hot sauce in it, and it's good.
Shout out to you.
I mean, so when they say, do we eat well? I'm like, I know, I can go back in time when I remember there was nothing to eat. So when they put food out there, I'm always saying, thank you. Thank you. Now, you get spoiled and you start to have preferences. Oh, we're having that again and everything. That's learned behavior. Because in the beginning, I'm like, that's cool. Oh, that's not good. Oh, we can ask for better stuff. Oh, we can do that. Oh, okay. But overall, man, I mean, overall, the food is good. But it's like every day, everything it's provided for you. The fact that it's there and the people are putting it there, I'm very thankful for that. I can't put it down. Even if I don't like it, I'll just order another food somewhere else. That's a perk. You don't like that? Order somewhere. Okay, we can do that. Oh, you can. Okay, let me do that.
I don't think a lot of people realize the show actually shoots in Stamford, Connecticut, and which Connecticut has definitely become the food scene in the state has really, it's blown up tremendously, and it's becoming more of a destination food state as opposed to a drive-through food state. And Jeffy, who's a New York guy, learned this by working on Restaurant Road Trip, our show. Nominated for 3 Emmys, and
congratulations, by the way, gentlemen.
I'm so proud of that, Doug. You have no idea. It's been a goal since I was in 8th grade, so I'm stoked about it.
Fortune Fire has been nominated yet. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, never.
I thought you'd be like, oh, I got 46 of them. Good luck to you. That's crazy.
So the fact that just that you guys are so early into it already got the nominations, that's a big accomplishment. Congratulations.
It took a lot, but so you'll see on social media if we win too, because it's not going to be pretty. I mean, it's not going to be. All that
I'm gonna wear mine. I'm gonna wear mine for a month at least.
Like a necklace.
I got a chain. I'm just gonna be walking down the street. What's that, Miami? What up?
But what do you think about the state of Connecticut, man? Like, you've been spending a lot of time here. I mean, is it a good place?
I love it.
To go
Okay,
do anything, or
I'm a New Yorker, but not New York City. When we used to film in Brooklyn before we moved on, I just don't care for traffic. I'm not a city person. Now, if I lived there, I was young and everything. I understand where New York, the energy, the hustle and bustle is something that you want to live in, because if it's not there, you feed off that energy. But when I went to Stanford, it's basically I chill out. I'm more relaxed over there. I'm not, you can feel it in New York. My energy, man, from day one, from getting up there, even driving into New York, I could feel my heartbeat start to race. It's just the pulse of the city. It's got that kind of energy, and I feel it when I'm there. Stanford's so laid back, so it's night and day.
Yeah. I think it's funny because I was telling the guys here after we first met, I was like, he's just such a nice human being, really good guy. And they're like, yeah, of course he is, because he's a fucking trained killer. Killers don't have to be, it doesn't matter. They can be nice to everybody because it doesn't matter. They have nothing to hide there. I mean, is that this is just like a fifth grade question. Is that a legit thought? Like, I mean, seriously, do you look at everybody and you're like, yeah, there's no problem here whatsoever, ever?
There is no problem here whatsoever. I've changed. Let's put it that way. I've changed.
Yeah.
And that's the blessing. I got into martial arts because I had a very troubled past. I was getting too many fights, kicked out everywhere. I was a very angry young kid. And my father, when I got into my teens, I started getting into gang fights. And back home, nobody fights with their hands. They carry. And it got to the point where my dad goes, "You're going to get your ass kicked, so you're going to better learn some martial arts." So I thought, great, now I'm going to learn to kick ass with style. Before I was just a scrapper. But that actually changed me, because now I realize that the martial arts, learning about violence is so that you can control it. The true beast basically is yourself, your ego. That's the enemy. When you really think about it, 99% of your fights, you could have walked away, run away. You could have even run, but you chose to stay because your ego says, "Well, we know something," or "No, I want justice," or you can choose to do that. But the true fact is, it's harder to walk away knowing that you could have beaten up someone. But that to me is, for me, what I say when I walk away and you're a jerk. Yes, I am. I'll beat you. Yes, you're going to win. If I walk away holding back, then I get to pat myself and go, "Good job." Because you know what? It was so easy to just want to go in and scrap. That's what you do. But when you become in the public eye, you're a target.
Oh,
you will
absolutely.
be tested. Everybody wants a piece of you. And don't think that I don't know that. One of my lawyers approached me and goes, "From now on, just know that if you react to anything in a court of law, you're standing on thin ice, because you are a target. You're supposed to know better. You're supposed to be this figure who's known, you do weapons and all these different things. Trust me, you're a target."
When you go to the military and you spend the time that you spent, and Dan, you as well, like, does that help that discipline? Because you talked about being troubled as a kid. Does the military play a role in that more than the martial arts, or does it go hand in hand? And then because you have this martial arts training that you've done your whole life, when you go into the military, are people trying you constantly?
When I was in the military, definitely it's a discipline. I went to a high school that was militaristic. We had to march to our classrooms, this all-boy Catholic military school. And so I was already used to that. By the time I got to the military in the U.S., there was a discipline, because you are held responsible for you everything that you do. You have to answer for it. So you have to be at work. If you're not at work on time, wear the uniform properly, you go to jail, correctional custody immediately. You can lose a stripe. So you always have that hanging over your head. So you either follow that, or you're going to get kicked out or pay the consequences. So that's one of the things that I like, because you're held, what's the term I'm looking for? You're responsible for your actions.
You're accountable. You're held accountable.
You're held accountable for everything that you do, which is what I like being in the military. You're told what to do. You follow the orders. You'll do fine. And they groom you to become a leader. So that's one of the things I really learned about it. But for me, the best thing I learned about the military is the ability to get away from the world that you live in. That's why I say I think everybody should serve in the military, even for your 2 years. That's like in Europe. Why? One case is one of my good friends in the military. So he either had a choice, go to juvie hall or join the Air Force, because he was a gangster.
Okay.
Judge gave him that choice. He goes, I'll go to the Air Force. While I was in there, he would get letters every week of friends who were being killed back in LA, because his gangster friends. And he'd say, I'm so lucky to be able away from that life. Today he's a doctor, and this guy could have easily been in jail. It's because of that vicious cycle of the life that that's all. You can't get away from that. Sometimes all you're going to do is fall into the same trappings of where you are. Your community will do that. If you serve, it pulls you away from that. They will house you, feed you, and give you an education to do something that's different. And then they can release you back. But at least you're given that choice.
Yeah.
Some people don't have that choice. They live in the life that's given to them, and there's a revolving cycle of violence and drugs and all these other things that they can't get away from. If we give them a choice to do the military thing, it's a chance to improve themselves.
Woo! Woo!
Listen.
Come on. Listen, I got to be honest. I was never thought that I would have been a military man, but, when he talks about finding the discipline and getting all the awesome things that complemented his life and that taught him to be a man, I feel like I might have benefited from a little military action. I don't know. It might have kicked my ass into something a little bit more positive. Not that I'm already positive, but
Stop whining.
You never know what it's going to be like until you get into it, Jeff. It's something that will change your life forever. I mean, I know my time in the military definitely made me a better person, made me more disciplined for sure. And, it definitely, I recommend it to everyone. I think I tell my kids, a little bit of time ain't going to hurt you. It's something that could benefit you in the long run.
All right, man. Well, listen, if you guys want to hear that whole conversation, go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Music, Spotify, blah, 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 and search for Plum Love Foods, episode 403, and go back and listen to Doug and all of us hanging out with him. He's a great guy. He's going to be on many more shows, I'm sure. So, moving on.
We're about to get into some beer action, Jeffy.
Oh.
From the people.
Dude, Chef Plum loves that Guinness was on, and he's so excited that Micheal Reardon from Guinness reached out and wanted to join us that day. Very cool. I love this.
I'm super excited. I know that little clip of me having a little taste test involved in this situation, which I always think is hilarious. Watching myself do that shit is funny as hell. So I hope everybody enjoys that.
Yeah, it was some sort of coffee, right? You drink some coffee beer.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Hot fudge sundae. You pour it over a hot fudge sundae. It's delicious. Coffee, cold brew, Guinness.
A little hot fudge sundae. I really like this. This is a little hot fudge coffee
just you
Guinness
and me, Jeff,
sundae.
just fudging it up.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Okay,
and here's the next clip.
Episode 393. With our boy, Micheal Reardon.
Before we open it, Dan, I was going to get Micheal to tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the Nitro Coffee Cold Brew kind of came out of a collaboration between, so we have an Open Gate Brewery. We call it the Baltimore Open Gate Brewery here in the United States. They make all new beers for the American market. So very kind of like craft beer forward when you think about it. Like you go in the tap room any day, wit beers, IPAs, stouts, porters, barrel-aged beers, sour beers, adjunct beers, because everyone thinks Guinness is just one beer. So we have an OGB in Dublin as well, experimental brewery. And both of them had done some experiments with coffee beers. And they kind of got to talking and thought, is this something that we can do with maybe one of the core stouts? Okay. So the Nitro Cold Brew Coffee, it is a beer. It's a stout. And it's in the same nitro can as your Guinness Draft, and it has a very similar flavor profile, but this is going to be much more coffee forward. So there's coffee and natural coffee flavorings in it. So you pop that can open, instantly you're going to smell caramel.
All right,
you're going to smell coffee. It's kind of mild through the center, so the aroma is aggressive, but the flavor of the coffee isn't that aggressive. And the cool thing about it is coffee flavor in Guinness is just like like I said, we roast all our own barley at St. James's Gate, and one of the key.
Wait, is there a widget in there? I heard
a widget in there. That's a widget.
Nice.
Dan was shocked. He
The
wasn't
aromas,
expecting the widget.
the smell is incredible. I'll tell
what do
you
you smell?
that.
Talk
It's
about
very
it.
nice. It's like sweet, nutty. It's that beautiful. It's almost that it honestly kind of coffee shop smelling, like when you go smell in a coffee shop. You
Oh,
get kind of
okay,
nice,
okay.
soft roast going on. Smells wonderful. I
Yeah.
definitely could see eating some ice cream with this.
Yeah, this is like it's a great dessert beer. It's a great brunch beer. But yeah, so that we've had that out. I think that's been out for 2 years now. The coffee nitro cold brew. So what I like about it is I think it's a way to get people who might really be intimidated by the other Guinness core stouts, like extra stout 4 and extra stout Guinness draft, and they try something flavored like that. Like, hey, I like coffee, I like caramel, I like things on the sweeter side. And when they realize, like, I'm basically drinking a nitro stout, it looks like Guinness draft, it tastes like Guinness draft, then they might kind of be bold enough to get in with the family and try some of those core stouts. All
right, let's see where one of the most hard to please human beings on the planet is when it comes to this beverage.
Jesus.
I'm nervous now.
Wow, my wife says the same thing. Fuck.
Oh, yeah, I know you pretty well too, brother. So Dan, you took a sip of this. What do you think?
Yo, it's good. It's very good. I had it before, and I think I had it too cold because now it kind of sat for a little bit, and I like it a lot more. I kind of get more of that natural nuttiness and that smell, and it's hitting me in the back. It's really good. I'm actually a fan.
Yeah, with all beers, it is possible to have it too cold because with all beers, they become more flavorful the warmer they get. Less refreshing, more flavorful.
Yeah.
But the aroma is volatile, and 75 to 85% of what we perceive as taste is our sense of smell. So you let that warm up a little bit, it definitely becomes more flavorful, and that coffee just jumps out of the can at you.
And does it have caffeine?
Not enough that the FDA made us put it on the label. So,
but it does have some.
Minuscule amounts, probably.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Michael, we actually have a camera inside Dan's brain when he first tasted this, so we can see what his initial reaction was in his brain, and we're going to play that video for you right now.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Oh.
There we go. He was a big fan of it, so.
Wow, you guys are high tech. You can see right in
Yeah, right in there. Hey, we've been working on this.
Very science.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah,
That's what we
StreamYard does big things.
That's right.
It's true.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you like it. I got to try this now. I'm not a big coffee and beer fan, but now I'm going to try a non-alcoholic Guinness and a coffee Guinness. I'm going to give it a try.
Got 2 more to try. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mike, I want to ask you about some of the Guinness that's not what we normally think of like this. Like, I know you guys make some other beers as well. Can we talk a little bit about those, or are you even fans of those? I mean, your Instagram handle is about the stout. So when you see those, do you just start booing them and yelling at them?
Not at all. No. I mean, I'm a beer fan in general. I mean, I find a way to like most beers, or at least be interested about it.
That's why you're awesome.
And the great thing, like I said earlier, I mean, we're a porter and stout brewery. That's how we made our way in the world. It's how we became one of the biggest breweries in the world. And so we have that core portfolio of porters and stouts, 4 and extra stout, Guinness draft, extra stout, so on and so forth. But outside of that, so we have the 2 experimental breweries I just mentioned. The flagship in Baltimore is the Baltimore Blonde, which is a blonde ale. Citra Mosaic hops, kind of the darling hops of the craft beer industry right now. Nice pale malt backbone to that, super dry and crisp. So citrusy up front, crackery backbone. A good amount of CO2 in that beer. So it's just a really nice, crisp, easy drinking ale with some of those nice refreshing citrus notes. But they brew anything and everything at that brewery. One of my favorite things that they do at that brewery is they have a barrel aging program.
Okay.
So because Guinness and Diageo are one and the same, we have access to a large portfolio of barrels, and I think they can only go up with what they're doing there. But on an annual basis, we do LTO, limited time offer beers from the barrel aging program. So the brewery in Baltimore is actually the site is an old distillery, and we actually still distill some spirits there in another area of that site. But it used to be the old Lord Calvert distillery. So the building that the brewery's in and the tour center's in, if you ever get to go visit, is actually an old rick house where they would store barrels. So it's just part of the heritage of this brewery to do this barrel aging stuff. And they've done an imperial stout. We actually just came out this year was a beer. It was an ale that was inspired by the old fashioned cocktail.
Oh shit! Okay.
So that was aged in bullet bourbon barrels for 11 months. We've done a stock ale in barrels. We actually did a wild ale recently for an anniversary beer, which was just beautiful. So one of the goals of that brewery is to be, one of the leading barrel aging breweries in the country. And so far, these offerings, like for me, have blown my mind. Like they did a mint chocolate stout, but
no mint.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. You have to sell me on that one.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
I agree with you because
just had this conversation.
You have to have a very delicate hand when you brew with mint. Very delicate hand.
Totally. And cook with it.
Yeah, well,
like you were saying.
Yeah. But the great thing about this is that being in the barrel for that period of time and the vanilla notes that you get from a bourbon barrel kind of rounded out the harshness that you typically get out of mint. And it really ended up tasting like, grasshopper ice cream. Like chocolate chip mint ice cream.
Is that a good thing though, Michael? I don't know, man.
So I think it's a good thing. It sounds like a really good thing.
Yeah, look at Jess over there like, yeah, buddy.
Yo, I'm down with mint chocolate chip. These guys say it tastes like toothpaste, but they're all fucked up.
I don't want my dessert to be brushing my teeth, man. It's just not, I don't want the crest. Like, oh, it's delicious.
Bro, if you're brushing your teeth with ice cream, we have bigger problems.
Yeah, I completely understand.
Well, that's before the Guinness. That's before the Guinness. Now
that's before the workout and the diet and all that. Yeah. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to beer. I actually prefer beers that are just the four main ingredients. And I think when you look to see like the skill of a brewer, you want to go for their simplest beer. You want to go for their Irish dry stout or their Pilsner or their Helles or their Saison, because that's really where you're going to know if they know how to deal with the ingredients and make them. A good beer should be like a symphonic experience. Like all four main ingredients should be bouncing off of each other.
Guys, come on, symphonic. That was awesome. That was fucking awesome right there.
These are big words.
Fucking awesome.
Thank you.
We like that.
That was awesome.
We like that.
That was awesome.
I'll leave on that note. Good night, guys.
Dan, I'm not sure what was going on there. Were you talking to your beer, at your beer? Were you talking to us about your beer?
I was in the moment, man. I popped that beer open. That aroma hit me. I was in the beer. Me and the beer were having a moment. I know it got captured live. I feel bad. My boy Mike was handling his business, talking about the beer, but I was in it. It transformed me to another level. I don't know what to say.
In church, we call that the spirit hitting you, son. Hey, let me tell you, a little bit. Hallelujah! You were over there having a spiritual moment on the Guinness. All right, man. Listen, if you guys want to check that out, go ahead. Again, go to your favorite podcast platform and look at Plum Love Foods Live, episode 393. Since it's Mohegan Sun Weekend, Chef Plum got the opportunity to sit down with the top of the food chain here at this event, the top dog herself, Lindsay Cady, to talk all about the fun things and the not so fun things that happen at an event like this. Here's a not best of interview, but a brand new one with Lindsay Cady from Mohegan Sun.
All right, friends, it's that time of year. We've been talking about it for a month now. The Sun Wine and Food Fest at Mohegan Sun is starting tonight. We couldn't be more excited. We're there now, but we're joined usually, this time of year, usually a week before, a week of, we get our good friend Lindsay from Mohegan Sun to join us. And joining us right now, here she is, Lindsay Cady, the head boss lady, woman who is in charge of everything. One of the coolest people you'll meet. Lindsay, what's up? How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Look at that title. Look at that title I gave you. Can you see that on your phone?
Wow. I'm like getting blind. I think I have astigmatism now. I'm really blind and I really actually can't read it because it's not on my computer.
That's what happens when we get older.
It looks long and great. You just have to remove the sun. Just have to remove the sun after Mohegan because technically I work for corporate, which is
okay. We'll adjust that right now.
Really really just being super specific. Although
that's right.
It is sad how much I cannot read because that was really hard for me to read.
Listen, that's what happens when we get older. My wife makes fun of me. I have to hold menus. I do this thing with my eyes
I'm really having a hard time with the with that.
This event is so fun. We've been talking about it for a month now. What can we look forward to this year? What's new? What's happening this year? It's not usually normal for us.
Well, this year we are actually executing 20 events, and a lot of years we come close to that, but I can say that we've never done a full 20 events. So we're doing 20 events, which is a lot between Thursday and Sunday. That's new. Another thing that's coming back that we used to do years ago, but we haven't done the last few years, is we are hosting a bigger brunch on the Sunday to close out the event. So Martha Stewart's coming back and hosting a pretty fun, trendy brunch on Sunday, which will be, we haven't done that since pre-COVID. So I'm excited for that. And then, I feel like the rest is, we are doing a really cool ice bar experience outside. Rachel and Lauren worked with some of our partners, and we're going to do like one of those vodka tastings outside in like the igloos and stuff on this
fun.
Like space that we actually made like workable over the last year at Mohegan. So that's exciting and very new. But lots of fun personalities as usual. We have like pretty much all the heavy hitters this year that have come in the past, which is exciting. But I don't know. It's a lot. Like now that I'm thinking about it all,
it really is. It's the funnest event of the year, and so many of us get to do so many events, and we're so lucky. But this one is the one that everyone talks about. It's so fun. It's like a big family reunion. Do you kind of get that vibe too when you see all the chefs kind of getting together?
I feel like it's definitely one of the events where everyone wants to be a part of it, and that's not always the case. I don't really have to try and, find talent for this. Everyone usually wants to be a part of it. I think what's great is that a lot of our public facing events, you kind of know the events people, or it doesn't, I don't know, it's the events team that everyone meets. But I think for this one, it's great because you meet like our back of house team so much more. So all of our people who participate really work so much with our culinary team in-house and our banquets team, and a lot of our public facing events you see us, but everything else is kind of back of house, and guests and even like celebrity personalities and stuff like that don't really meet those teams.
Right.
And this event you do, and you realize how much we really have to work together and how much everyone really like plays a part in producing this. We have a really outstanding culinary team, which I talk about every year, but I would be silly not to, because I think that's one of the reasons so many people come back. We make it really easy for people. And they work really hard, and they've become friends with everyone as well. So I think that's what makes this one special. Like you really work with all the teams, back of house and front of house, and it's like a collaborative effort. So
I think it's one of the things we love the most. I know our team loves the most is being able to be in that kitchen and work with some of the the team that you guys have there with Tammy and the whole crew in the kitchen. They're just such great people and so fun to work with, and they do an amazing job, and they have to deal with so many different people and so many different wants and needs. I mean, is there any point where like the wants and needs, we don't have to get specific, but the wants and needs kind of get like, all right, enough already?
I kind of felt like that yesterday so I don't know if they'll hear it. I mean, I love them, but I feel like some stuff I could figure out. Yeah, it was like we're very specific, and sometimes I set them up for like, I try and make their life as easy as possible too. Like I try and get all of the, equipment needs and power needs and specific spice needs and everything laid out as possible and as easy to read as possible. Like I organize it all in folders and whatnot, and then everyone becomes too used to it. So it's like one thing we don't see. It's like, where is this? What? I'm like, okay, at this point, there's literally going to be 30 like culinary personalities in the back, and we have a huge banquets kitchen. Like I'm pretty sure you could find like if at the last minute we had to find something, I'm pretty sure we could probably find it.
There.
Like at that point,
if you need something, it's there.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure we could figure it out. But I mean, I don't know. This year for me, it's not so much the kitchen side. Some years the kitchen side can be a lot, but I think I've really got that down to such a model that makes it easy for talent and makes it easy for our team that I think, it kind of runs itself. But I would say this year, I don't know, like logistics, flights are kicking my ass. Like, and this is stuff that, I mean, I've done since I was 25. So I'm like, I've always, before I even produced events and did all that. I managed talent, right? Like on property, like I did, you know, itineraries for celebrities coming in and whatnot. And I'm like, why are the flights haunting me? Like, why do I feel like I'm an intern and like 24 years old right now? Like,
is it just getting people there, or is it booking the flights? Is it just getting people there?
Both. It's just like people like I think honestly, there's not a ton of options coming from the West Coast or just anywhere right now that are direct into Boston or New York. Like usually Boston has so many more options and they just don't. And it's like, or like one airline that you think would be affordable, like jacks their price up overnight. And then you're like, I'm not spending $5,000 on a friggin' flight. Like, I'm just like, it's just crazy. It's just stupid. Right. And then people keep changing like when they can come in, when they can't. And, I just feel like kind of a little interny doing that. Like, I feel like I'm getting flashbacks from like my first year doing this stuff. And I'm working with an agency who makes it much easier than when, you know, I used to actually like outsource the flights. But I feel like you kind of go back into it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to look myself. Like, what's out there? I'm like, this is so silly. Like, what am I doing? Like,
that's funny. Like, that's the last thing I thought you would say would be the flights. That's the problem.
I know,
it seems like it's
but
so
it's
simple.
literally, I can't check it off the list. Like, it should be something that is like so menial and easy, and that I'm done usually so early on. And for some reason, they're just like lagging. I'm like, guys, the event's next week. Like, are you like, how do you not know what town you're going to be in on Wednesday? So like, I'm just not like, I just don't like, how do you not know where you're flying out of next week? Like, for me, that's just, you know, that's their world, but it's just funny. I'm like, I just want to check it off and I can't check it off my list.
Well, I was hoping that everything that you could put that has my name on it, you put 3-time Emmy nominee, and person who just got asked to submit again this year. So maybe we can be 6-time.
There we go.
I don't know, but
we have to promote you. You should make a big sign for your dine around, and you can put anything there. You know.
That's right. That's right.
Do whatever, but yeah, that and like, you know, there's a lot more. The brunch is really like creating your own thing. So I am, you know, really producing something that's not been done before. Anthony Porosky is joining her on stage. Kaylin Allen's hosting it, and none of these people have really worked together. I mean, I think if they have, it's been really brief. We have the opportunity for some special guest appearances to come out, but you really have to like produce a show. So it's that type of stuff is a little nitpicky and grinding towards the end. You know, people kind of don't think about that. Like they just think like, oh, you got them and they're here. And even people on my own team like don't realize it's not that easy. Like, I mean, I have calls probably every other day just going over timing and when we're going to do this and like, what are talking points? Like, what are they going to actually do up there? Like, everyone's like, oh yeah, they're just going to have a brunch. It's like, yeah, no, like you need something for them to talk about for an hour. And like, you need to give notes to the host. And it's like, someone has to actually build that out. And those are like the little things that I, you know, am doing back, you know, behind the scenes that people maybe don't know or, you know, don't think of. So
I think the behind the scenes is one of the hardest things there is when it comes to this sort of event, because dealing with so many different people for so many different reasons and all the things that they need and who needs what and everyone's talking to who. I feel like they should give you 5 assistants. That's what I think.
No, I've got a couple. Well, I mean, like I've said the last couple years, the team downstairs does a good job, you know, of help. I say downstairs, I'm in the office today, so it's like funny. But, you know, Lauren's team operationally really has helped tremendously compared to, you know, prior. So I feel like, you know, now that we've worked together for the last few years and really know the ins and outs and this, you know, operationally, she does a really, really awesome job at the things that I'm not the strongest in. So I feel that's great. Like load in times and like Rachel just runs that expo center. I mean, you have to remember that you see everything because you host on this Coke stage, but people, we have 30 chefs coming in, which is a job on its own.
Totally.
You know, but we also have 120 vendors that have to load in and out between Thursday and Sunday. Like think about that. That's all in-house managed, right? Like we don't use a company I think they do use kind of the expo center has our own relationships with people for any expo that we would have help do that. But like we manage those 120 vendors. Like Rachel manages that on our team. Like she does a tremendous job and hustles and, you know, really is the face of that. And, you know, people forget about that, right? Like it's not like you just snap your fingers and you have a expo center filled. And so, you know, it's a collaborative effort with sponsorship and F&B and, you know, myself and Lauren
and 10,000 people.
It's over crazy. A weekend. It's like insane. So
I need you to make me a promise this year.
Okay.
at Dine Around Saturday night, you will taste my food.
Yes. I think I did last year. You had the sandwich last year.
Did you taste it? I don't remember if you did or not.
Yeah, I did because it was something I would eat.
All right. Well, we try to crush it every year, and we get such reviews. And I'm like, I just wish Lindsay would taste us so she can see I actually can cook. I can really cook.
I know that you can. No, I ate it last year. Everyone raved about your sandwich last year in house. I remember the events girls were really excited about yours, and I have like a little fun section for you. It's like Micheal, you, like you're all in the same area.
Oh,
so
excellent!
Create like a little party scene. It's like by the stage this year. We had to change out the layout just a little bit to make it load in the next day easier. But I know everyone says that though. You're not alone. I just want you to know you're not the only one. They're like, I've known you for 10 years and you have never even tasted my food. I'm like, guys, like, don't intentionally do that. I just, I don't know if it's a food and wine festival. I probably eat the least of like any time in my life.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, because you're working the whole time. It's tough not to eat. Well, Lindsay, I can't wait. This event is so much fun. Can't wait to see you. Hopefully see you later on. And running around and playing and doing all the fun things. I know you're working your butt off, but we appreciate everything. Thank you so much. And here's another great festival.
Thank you. Be safe. Right. Stay warm.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, Lindsay.
Bye.
Whoa. That's wild how calm she is. She like went monk this year.
Yo, she's the OG. My girl been handling business for a minute now. I mean, they doing 20 years. This is not her first rodeo. She's handling business. She got all the top people coming out. Like anybody that's ever been on Chopped is there. Robert Irvine is there. We got Will Ford, and we got Plum handling the Coke stage. Martha Stewart. It's gonna be a good time, man. It's always a good time. They're doing it big this year. I cannot wait.
I'm hoping to run into Martha. I feel like me and Martha hit it off.
Hey, me and Martha can talk. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I just want to talk about everything with her. Like, hey, how's your pie? What's up? Anyway,
would you know the next guest?
Yeah. Let's move on to our next guest. This past summer, we had a very interesting conversation with a real-life Las Vegas madam.
My favorite part of that is just having Plum be so uncomfortable during the whole conversation.
Yeah, it is pretty funny how uncomfortable Plum gets when we talk about I don't know.
But her being a chef was awesome. Like the tracing that back and then the stories she gave afterwards were amazing.
She told us a crazy threesome story.
It was wild, and knowing exactly what she's talking about and the words she's using and the lingo is what makes it all that better.
Here's some of our conversation with Vegas Madam Liv Larue from episode 415 of Plum Love Foods.
For instance, one of the questions we were jokingly talking about earlier, and I won't say which one of our good brothers here mentioned this. They were like, "Listen, what if I pay for an hour, but 6.5 minutes?" It's over. Like, what do we do then? I was like, I guess you just get to know each other for 54 minutes.
Yeah, some people want to talk, and then some people are like, all right, bye. And I'm like, sweet. I'm going to go to Costco. I got errands to run.
I'm going to go to Costco.
I'm taking my money. I'm out of here.
Yeah. You are my age.
Yeah, let's keep it real.
Yo.
No, but sometimes they want to, snuggle and talk. It's like 90% snuggle and talk and 10%, the old.
Okay, fair enough. Dan, do we have plugs? You got plugs for Liv or no?
Yeah, livlarue.com. Go there. You can find everything you need to find. She got everything. She got the homepage. She got pictures. She gonna book up a testimonials.
This is the best plug man in the business, Liv. You have no idea.
YouTube channel, all of it.
Take care of you. Check her out on YouTube.
Liv, one of the things I thought was interesting, you're not an Instagram fan, right? You're not a big fan of Instagram at all.
I actually got kicked off of Instagram, so yeah, no.
Oh.
They can
choke
on a bag of what.
Sure. You can say it. It's okay. a bag of Jeffies. He liked it. See, he liked it. Why'd you get kicked off? What happened?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. It was some dumb shit.
Nope.
Yeah.
Always is.
I provide a one-on-one in-person experience. My experience is not virtual. This is as virtual as I get, you know, and there's plenty of girls out there who do the virtual experience and they're doing a great job at it. They're killing it. Go slay, yay. But like, no, I'm of a different generation and I was raised differently, you know. Like, I like the real shit. Like, I bet all y'all like the real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. No. Of course,
all
absolutely.
really into VR.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know what to say about that. There we go. So how long do we do this? Like, what's the end game here? Are we doing this the rest of your life? Is that? I mean, I'm not coming from a negative perspective with this. It's a real question. Like, is this something? I mean, at some point you're going to be 78 years old, you know, and do we keep doing this? I mean, there are freak shows out there. I get there's people who are into it, whatever. Shout out to them. We all have our thing, but like, is that the plan?
It's not the plan. No, it's not.
People are gonna look her up like, you know who I like? Liv Larue. I love her wheelchair. Like,
right.
You know, my favorite thing about her is her walker.
I can always peddle flesh. You know, that's never gonna go away.
Right on.
I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
So you
my flesh.
Oh, well, that's true too. I guess that's true too.
Yeah, that's madam. Yeah, you
That's
know,
true.
we get older, they stay the same age, right?
Mm-hmm. Living that pimp life. She got
That made me happy.
Pimping on the real. Listen.
Yeah.
I mean, do you have like coupon codes, like Groupons and shit? How does that work? I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a promo code, like you want some new knives, go to orgochef.com, use promo code Plum, get yourself a brand new knife from some great people. Probably a little different from you. How many people are you madam for right now? How many different women are you madam for?
Right now, only 2. I had 8 before COVID, but it's been slow to start back up. So
yeah.
That
seems weird.
How did COVID affect your business? Was it really, really hard to get people around the country? Is that the problem, or is it just like no one wanted to come to you? Or
it's like all the girls left. They just went back to home, wherever that was. So then it was just me, my lonesome, and my girlfriend Holly, right? So we had to suck all the dicks in Reno.
Hey, listen. This is someone's got to do it, right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, not all of them.
This is your burden to bear, and you're willing to do that, and I appreciate
only
that.
the ones that are paying.
That's right. That's right. The thing that affected the business was the guys didn't have an excuse to leave the house.
You live in Reno. Do you guys have a special hot dog in Reno? That's not a trick question because we were just talking about
the glizzy. Do you guys call them glizzy? Yeah.
Of course.
Okay. I'm just making sure it's not some punk ass kid thing that.
No, that's the thing.
It is, but we also we like to try to keep it, you know, cool.
We prefer the term hot dog sandwiches.
Oh, these guys are the fucking hot dogs.
Reno is not a hot spot of culinary delights.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
I know. We have all you can eat sushi, and we have all you can eat sushi burritos.
But there's no fucking ocean anywhere near you.
I don't know. Riddle me that.
Riddle me this. Deep in the heart of Reno, there's sushi bars galore.
There's like 5 on every corner. What?
Really? So I know that you talked earlier about having a girlfriend, and I know that you have children, and we can't talk about that. I don't want to get. I'm being very like general and purpose. So I don't know how much personal information you want to give out. But like, how is that like having the family life with what you do? Is it different? Is it weird? Does the family understand what you do, or obviously your girlfriend does?
Yeah, most of the adults in my life that need to know are pretty cool, and then the other adults in my life that don't need to know, then they don't know, and
fuck them.
Fuck them. My kids are in high school, so they're gonna figure it out eventually, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna be cool with it because I've kind of like laid that foundation, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta massage it.
Yeah.
So hopefully everything will be okay, but if not, no, fuck it.
So Liv, tell us a story just before we get you out of here about maybe like a scary moment or a really funny moment that's happened to you where like some shit went down that wasn't supposed to go that way, or like
Holly and there we go. In the beginning, when Holly and I were first starting, we got a call from this guy, and he wanted to have a threesome with Holly and I and his wife. So that's a foursome, I guess.
That's
right?
4.
So
you can't even count. Fuck this guy.
Right. And they're in their late 70s.
Whoa.
And she definitely had dementia or Alzheimer's. She did not know where she was. She didn't know what the fuck was going on, and it was fucked up. And after a minute, once we thought she was playing dumb and being submissive at first, right? Because
that makes sense.
You know, and we didn't get it. And then like we watched her try to put on some clothes, and she was doing it all backwards, and I was like, I think that she's not all there, you know, and I think this could actually be considered like elder abuse and rape. So we're going to go. Bye.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, I have so many questions. Wow. Okay, so first of all, at that age, that gentleman still was functioning.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He kept seeing Miss Holly. I think they still see each other, and this was like 8 years ago.
Wow. So that dude's like 90 years old right now.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, was he an impressive gentleman at that age?
No, I wouldn't say that. No,
he
was pretty overweight.
Wow.
Undesirable. Yeah.
Wow. And was his wife, like at one point in her life, was she an attractive woman, you think?
Oh, yeah. You could tell that she was spicy for sure. She was like a petite little spinner, like, you know, long hair and cute. She had cute underwear and everything. So she was obviously like, you know, a lusty lass.
It's just the second you guys got ready to throw down, she was looking for her life alert button, trying to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Maybe she was getting high, man. Maybe she found the lewds. She found some old lewds. She like dug them up.
For some Ambien. Yeah.
She's grabbing her jitterbug. She's grabbing her jitterbug phone, trying to take video. Jesus.
That reminds me of the guy whose part of his hobby was he would travel around and he had like shitloads of video camera equipment, like as like a professional, and he would get a hotel room and he would set up all these lights and like microphones and different cameras, and he would videotape the whole thing, and then when we were done, he would videotape me reading a part out of his book that he wrote, and he had like 5,000 of these videos at that time, which was in 2014.
Yeah, this is the guy you don't want to see again. That's creepy. That's weirder than the old people.
The shit out of me for you. Is he on a list somewhere? Do
Yeah.
we all know his address? I mean, this makes me worried.
He can't even go to the airport.
He's the kind of guy, like, if
take a
something
flight.
happens to you, he's the first person. That's the first place I'm going. I'm gonna be like,
yeah.
excuse me, sir, I need to see that video and the rest of the videos.
Right. And
Well,
he
Jeff,
actually
Lisa-
contacted me about that. To be like, he's like, I don't usually offer this, but would you do it again? Like, oh, nah.
Wow.
Because you want it at like 3:30 in the morning. What the fuck?
Ooh, that doesn't seem like a
Jesus.
pre-planned second.
All right.
It seems like I'm really high and I'm ready for a second. Not like that's weird.
So, last one from me, Liz, and the boys may have a question for you. How does it work? So, do we have? Is there like a, for lack of a better way to put it, is there a menu? Like, do we have like here's what it is for this. Here's what it is for this. Here's what, for by the hour or for the traveling. I saw like the travel stuff on your website. But how does that work for someone locally?
Yeah, good question. I'll get you hip to the lingo. So there's different acronyms that people use, and that describes the services that they provide. So the FBSM, full body sensual massage, right?
Okay.
So that's like your happy ending type thing with a hot chick, and you can probably touch her or something, but not a lot of sexual acts. And then there's PSE, which is porn star experience. So if you're one of those, this is important to know, because if you really want a PSE, but you end up hiring a GFE, she's going to be upset because she doesn't want you to come all over her face.
Right.
And all this weird shit that they do in porn, and vice versa. So like, you got to know what you're looking for. If you want someone to cuddle and make out and, talk and that and do stuff that a girlfriend would do, then you want the girlfriend experience, right? And then there's different levels of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some of the acronyms like DATY, it means oral sex on a woman. So dining at the Y is what it stands for. It's kind of like an outdated that's still around, right?
It's so interesting.
I'm gonna hit my wife with that every time I text her from now on. I can't wait to tell her this new story. DATY, baby.
DATY. So, some girls don't want you to do that to them or whatever.
Yeah.
They'll put that on their no list.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So, yeah, that's it's crazy. On this, the whole. Like, what if someone who doesn't know the lingo, but like they're a nice person who is just looking for some, to fill a void that they have at the moment, or whatever the case may be, but they don't know the lingo. Like, how does that work?
I try to be kind if they're using their manners, but a lot of time people don't use their manners, and so
That's
I'm not
terrible.
nice back. Yeah, and,
Just be nice, fuckers. Just be nice.
Don't send me a text with some nasty shit. Like, nobody's gonna respond nicely to that. But if you you honestly don't know how it works, you gotta be careful though, because if you text somebody like, "Hey, I really need a blowjob and I got $100," well, now that's entrapment, and that girl's not gonna text you back. She's probably gonna block you. So you can't. So how do I communicate my needs and wants? That's what the guys say. Yeah, you just. If you have really specific needs and wants, and you got to kind of work up to that in your conversation. And when guys are trying to get information out of me like that I can't give because it's illegal, I tell them we'll just talk in person. And if that's not a good enough answer for them, then see ya.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a great one. She was fantastic. I love her energy. I love what she's bringing to the table. Liv Larue is awesome.
Yo, yeah, Chef Liv is on fire. Chef Liv does some real shit. She's teaching people the basics. She's talking about the lingo. She's talking about things that I don't know if my wife wants me to know. I got to be completely honest. It was, but it was good. It was good, and she changed my opinion about sex work a little bit. I don't know about you.
Oh no, I was on board with sex work to begin with, but I was all about the conversation, man. Joe, she's good. She's actually exactly what she's good people. She's doing it safely. I appreciate what she's doing, and it's interesting when you find out the roots of where she came from, and she gives us a whole background. The whole episode was really good. It's a little change of pace for us. I thought it was a good way to kind of like stir things up.
Yeah, and it's also it was interesting to see that she has like boundaries, I guess, for herself. I think people assume, you think madam or lady of the night or whatever kind of name that you can put on it, and they think oh, she's gonna fucking do the craziest stuff you can imagine, and then she was like, she's not on the microphones. She doesn't want mics and cameras on her. She wants it to be missionary.
She knows what like you said, boundaries. She knows what she wants, what she's willing to do, and that's what it's about. Handling the business. I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah. All right. Well, all these episodes are available everywhere you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Music, or podcasts. And if you type in, you can just ask Siri, "Hey Siri, play Plum Loaf Foods Live," and she's going to pull up an episode, and you're going to enjoy it. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook Live. It's all over the place.
Yeah. If you we're live every Thursday at 10 p.m. streaming on all major social platforms.
That is absolutely true.
Facebook, IG.
You name it. Twitch.
Twitch.
We're on all that shit. And thank you guys. Thank everyone out there for listening. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for liking and subscribing and dropping comments. We love it so much. And if you're at Mohegan and you're going to be around and you're hearing this, come see us Friday and Saturday at the Coke stage. Big Chef Plum on the stage, tearing this place down with DJ Tom in the building, doing the damn thing.
Hell yeah. See you next week.
All right. See you next week. And remember, folks, food is the most important thing to Plum and also to us, and that's why we talk about food every week on this show. Plum Loaf Foods Live.
Sports.
From the tower of power, too sweet to be sour, I'm funky like a monkey. Sky's the limit and space is the place.
Thank you for listening to Plum Love Foods Live. See you next week, good brothers and sisters.
Do you think I'm crazy?